Hi, and welcome to another exciting edition of Scarlet Betch. I'm Jason.
And I'm Anthony.
Um, this week, I brilliantly bought my comic books in my comic book store, brought them to my workplace, and then forgot to bring them home. But luckily, I was able to read them most of them on the way home or between coffee breaks or that kind of thing. So, I won't be able to refer to them. So I apologize if my memory is a little spotty.
I'll just set the scene for you, Jason.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got him.
But I was just like, this entire afternoon I absorbed a lot of comic book related things because on Mary Sue they linked to this like compendium. Someone wrote this enormous post on the complete origin story of Catwoman, and it's really cool. It's really cool.
Yeah.
But it's like insanely long. It's like unbelievably long. I'm trying to, but it's really cool. So I'll put a link in the video, but it's awesome. And so like I'm just kind of like saturated with the comic book things right now, so everything's kind of like blending together. But I guess we can move straight into things. The book that I was most excited about coming out this week was Alpha Flight. Greg Pak and Van Lente are a great combo, and also it's with our beloved Canadian superheroes who are really awesome. And so this issue, we start with them being Alpha Flight being captured by Department H, and North Star and Guardian and Puck are trying to break out and free everyone.
Yeah. Well, everyone breaks out. Some on their
Yeah.
own. Marina, last issue we were like, oh no, she's lost to the brainwashing of the Canadian government. But then she's like, actually, no, you can't keep a newfie down.
Die, human scum!
Exactly. That's why I love that catchphrase. I love it. Whenever she says that, I'm like, I like humans. Let's be friends.
But doesn't she even say it when she's not fighting humans, though? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
I love it. She's the best. And I know you liked her other simpler look, but I love punk rock tentacle collar. I love it.
Okay, to be fair enough.
I
mean, like, I think that her costume is probably like maybe not the least offensive, but I mean, like, there are much more bizarre costumes in the mix, like, or not even bizarre, just badly designed. At least hers has like a concept and it goes with it. Maybe a little too far. It's a lot of look, but there are other people on that team, like Puck. I'll just wear a onesie and a pee. Why not? That'll just be me, you know.
Right, and that's the thing, because I feel like of all the characters on the team, she has. I mean, Sasquatch will always be in style because he's just naked all the time. But hers looks like, to me, streetwear. Like, aside from the fact that instead of a fur collar, it's a tentacle collar.
Well, it's
and I like that. I like that it's like it looks like a superhero costume because it's alien clothes, but it's probably her body, right? I don't know. But it also looks like just some hipster.
I want to know when Aurora is going to be wearing her yellow suit that was in like the first cover of the new limited series. She is in a yellow costume. And I'm like, when is that gonna happen? And that part of that was addressed maybe in this issue because so I guess you wanted to give an award to Alpha Flight for best use of a power.
That is what I wanted to give because I love the fact that she gets to argue with her alternate personalities and do them bodily harm. I mean, it's her own body too, but it's crazy. I thought it was fun. It was really cool. It was definitely like a Gollum comic, but really well done. I tried to look up to see if her eye color changed always, because I thought that was a really good marker, and I'm glad that they introduced that because I couldn't find anything on the internet.
I didn't even notice that. What eye color does Jean-Marie have?
Jean-Marie has gold eyes.
Oh, okay.
And Aurora has blue.
Okay.
So, yeah, and that's how you can tell who's talking and everything, or it was great. I loved it. I think it was so creepy when she came in with her like shard of glass sticking out of her. I was like, oh my gosh, Terra should have done that on United States of Terra.
Well,
I
she
didn't realize all you have to do was stab yourself to get rid of your alternate personality.
Well, but isn't so like so Jean Marie is which one's the more? I don't even know which personality is which.
Jean Marie is the austere school teacher one, I believe.
Okay.
So she is not a superhero. She's very stricken by the books, like, and I think she was the original Splinter personality that started causing trouble for Aurora.
Okay.
Like, yeah, and yeah, they obviously have a long past, so that they were talking about.
Like Aurora has had so much shit on her. Like, poor girl. Like, really.
Aurora
She has
is
the
one
worst
of those,
luck.
like, she was always just one step away from the fridge.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my gosh, and because they gave her like the craziest of crazies,
Mm-hmm.
Psychological disorders. Like,
what is it with mutants and multiple personalities? We got Legion. We got Jean Marie.
well, it's nice because you can give them other powers.
Speaking of Legion, X-Men Legacy also came out this week. So I guess spoiler alert. So our last issue, the big kind of like cliffhanger thing was that Legion had surrendered himself to claw sucking Sticks. Yeah, sure. Had sacrificed himself. The big reveal, which is really cool, I guess, but also kind of confusing, was that the Legion who sacrificed himself was actually not Legion. It was Rogue, because Legion had used that old personality who could copy himself onto other people on Rogue, but I had completely forgotten about that other personality or its power set. So I was like, what?
There was a full minute where I was like, did she keep Mystique's powers?
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait, she had the collar thing, so did she absorb those powers? And I was like, oh, no, that's right. He just pasted himself on top of her.
Mm-hmm.
Got easy, man. And then my next question was, what weapon? Did she get?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah, but what was also weird. So like I like granted they in this comic book it wasn't as ridiculous, but the whole like I'm touching you and you're touching me and we're creating this feedback loop. Like, I feel like that happens a lot with Rogue. At least I remember one specific time where it happened between her and Magneto, where like she had absorbed some like I think she absorbed like some empath's powers or some telepath power, and she was with what was it? I can't remember. So like she was with I think, yeah, she absorbed someone's empathy powers or something like that. And she was with Magneto, and she could sense Magneto's attraction to her, and then she was also causing him to feel her emotions. So it created this emotional feedback loop, and then they started making out and shit. I was like, what?
We've talked about that, and that is something that every good X-Men fanfiction writer includes in at least one story.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, I usually hate the stupid comic book feedback loops, especially when the comic book math is like, what? It reminds me.
My question is, why did they start absorbing each other's bodies? That is neither of their powers. I mean, it's Legion's, but because like Legion would have needed to absorb Styx, but then why would Styx be absorbing Legion? He doesn't absorb the body; he absorbs the soul, just like Rogue absorbs the soul.
No. But so, I think what was happening was because they were because of like the I don't know, the feedback loop or whatever. Like they were kind of becoming one person, and then when Legion was absorbing Styx, he was also pulling along Rogue.
But before Legion even got there, so like after the Legion imprint had left Rogue, she and Styx were combining.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And maybe that just came from the fact that Legion had been reabsorbing Styx while on Rogue. That it sounds weird. But I was really like, guys, why are they meshed together? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and then what didn't make sense was like when Styx touched the Legion went and like Legion split personality went inside Six to see Professor Xavier, and that was also very confusing. But whatever.
Yeah. And then when did Professor? Oh, because all the souls went out. Okay, so that's how that happened. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't understand why all the souls went out to all the other bodies. I was like, it doesn't seem to have happened to anyone else, but I mean, it happened to all those Bond people. But yeah. Anyway, it was good. Aside from I read very quickly over that climactic powers scene because it was like, and then everyone waved their hands like magic.
Yeah. But like, and so I guess like this for some reason, so Rogue is able to during this like tanglement of souls or bodies or whatnot, she also touches Legion and is able to access all of his powers, and she's like, oh my gosh, this is so wonderful. And out of all these powers, I choose this one random girl who can transport to other people. But like then what?
My thing was, okay, so she gets absorbed into Legion. Great. She becomes kind of one of his personalities for a bit until they get separated up. Okay, understand. But she also gets access to all of his personalities. That I didn't necessarily understand. But, I mean, I guess part of being in him is you see all of it. Okay. Oh, okay. And then because she dealt with that hexacone in Mike Carey's original run on Adjectiveless, when this was still Adjectiveless, so she could deal with all the minds. And then she quick went through them and found the one power that could help. I mean,
but then but also I didn't remember why. I mean, I guess so. I guess she had seen Revenant before, but it just was weird that like out of all this chaos, she was like, oh yeah, Rachel, you know, like.
Oh no! Well, I mean, because that'd been on her mind, right? That she said because she was trying to think of a way to go get them, and I mean, in the past, whenever anyone has tapped into David's powers, like be they magic through making that deal with him in New Mutants or anyone else, they were like, oh right, I have another other problem I need to solve.
I just don't get why she needed to like run off half cocked like at that exact moment. She's like, oh wait, David also has his power. Why not send David, the guy with the unlimited powers, to the place where you need to. It's just.
Yeah, and I mean, he was unconscious, and the last time we left them, they were being assaulted by a legion of bugs. So, I was always when I saw that splash page, I was like, oh, they're dead. Yeah, they're dead. So I would say that her initial reaction to jump was good. I was on board with that. I was like, yeah, leave those stupid people. We don't need them.
But can she?
I thought it was interesting that she was like, I should have these powers for 12 hours.
I know, right? I was like, exactly.
Where did that come from? You've been timing yourself now? Weird.
But yeah. So moving right along. What else do you want to talk about this week?
I really want to talk about Batgirl because that gets my best comic award. It started out just a little bit like, meh. She or her father. I was like, I was very excited for this comic because I'd never seen them really interact, and they had a nice interaction. It was cute, but I didn't really know where it was going. And then he brought out this plant, and I was like, what is he doing with that? I don't know what mercy is. And then we get awesomeness. And we get Stephanie Brown coming out to her mother. We get Stephanie Brown looking at all these awesome storylines that I feel like they would have done and I don't know if that was the case. Like if the writer was just like, these were all the ideas I had that I wanted to do. But they were amazing. And then we see her like in the future with her little kid and like with her sidekick and like, I want that. It was so good. It was so good. It is, to me, this is like the best goodbye comic. I haven't really read any of the other ones. Like, I'm sure Secret Six was a good farewell issue.
I heard that Secret Six was awesome. I also heard that it involves a like lesbian polygamous marriage between Scandal Savage, Lyra, and Knockout, and it's awesome.
Because definitely, Gail Simone tweeted, yes, Scandal and her redheads are canon, and I was like, redheads? Does she mean like her history, like that she's still a lesbian? No, evidently, she means it's a lady pile.
Yep.
Of ladies. Hot.
This is Gail Simone and her response to the establishment. Fuck you!
Hot. And that's why, as the hottest writer, she gets to go to Fury of Firestorm.
Okay, so my best comic from this week was Fear Itself, New Avengers. I usually don't read the New Avengers at all. Partially, I'm not really sure why. Of all the Avengers teams, I really should like the New Avengers because I don't particularly like Luke Cage. But the positive part of Luke Cage is we also get Jessica Jones, and I love Jessica Jones. Granted, I like her more on Young Avengers when she's in street clothes and not like when she's in her weird, really dated Jewel costume with that weird just that costume just doesn't make sense. It's in terms of like if you're a brawl, if it makes sense if you are like in the background shooting like magic missiles or whatever. But if you're a brawler and you're throwing punches, there's no way that top, asymmetrical though it may be, is staying up. You know, there's a lot unless there's like a lot of boob tape. You know.
I'm sure there is.
But anyway, so we get.
I was gonna say, New Avengers should be because when the Avengers split up into all those different teams, I picked up Secret Avengers thinking I was gonna love that, and I thought it was boring as heck. And looking at the preview for this issue that you love, that's your favorite comic of the week, I've been looking at it because Victoria Hand is their liaison, and the characters that they draw are kind of, because the Avengers comes from combining like A-list and B-list and C-list characters from all different comic books into one team, and that's how it started out. And but now those people are kind of ensconced as the Avengers, like that's the only book they're in type deal. So I do love like eclectic team ups, super group.
Yeah, but so
be redundant.
Yeah, so what's really fun about this issue is because we get Squirrel Girl. Squirrel Girl is one of the kind of great guilty pleasures of the Marvel Universe. She, for anyone who doesn't know, Squirrel Girl is a mutant. She has been in several rather hilarious runs of the Great Lake Avengers / the Great Lake Initiative / so at one point they all discovered they were mutants and gay, so they were like the GLX, the gay lesbian, the Great Lakes X-Men. But then there was they discovered that they were all like, oh wait, we're all actually mutants, and like 3 of us are gay. And so there was because there was this one guy, this one mutant, this one superhero who came to join the GLX, and they were like, why do you want to join us? And then and he's like, wait, this isn't the gay and lesbian X-Men? Like, no.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But so, basically, Squirrel Girl has been out of a job for some time, and she has been hired on as the superpowered nanny of Luke Cage and Jessica Jones' kid Danielle, which is awesome. So, like, A, we get a lot of camp. B, we get Squirrel Girl, and then C, like, so much awesome Squirrel Girl happenings, because like the whole big thing about Squirrel Girl is that no one takes her seriously. She's a girl with squirrel powers. But we always forget that Squirrel Girl has done a lot of cool things, like defeat Dr. Doom, and I think she defeated Galactus or something like that. I don't remember. She did some crazy ass shit. And in this comic book, like, not only does she defeat Wolverine, like the best like fighter in the Marvel Universe, whatnot. So she like she defeats Wolverine. It's just chock full of like Squirrel Girl awesomeness, and I highly recommend it.
I was gonna say, anytime you put the word super and nanny together, you have a hit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I should pick that up. I didn't because I barely scanned. I just zipped through my comic book store today, but there's so much I need to go back and get. Just like I went back and got this Wonder Woman that I wanted to get. I've been really liking the DC retroactive because they choose the best comic to reprint from a whole decade, and so it's always really good.
I just think it's a I don't know, strange choice to be like, let's look back on the great history of DC comic books. Also, next month we're completely reading the line, and nothing you're reading right now is really going to matter. It's just
well, because I really feel like it kind of reinforces the fact that comic books change all the time, and there have been like at least 3 major status quos that have shifted, like this, exactly like this. Because DC does crises all the time, and this is basically just a big line-wide crisis in a sense. I mean, crises are always line-wide, but this is like just a bigger iteration of that to my mind. And so I do like that they point out that like Wonder Woman didn't used to be able to fly, and that was, to me, that was the biggest thing that I didn't understand at first in this comic. I was like, what? She can't fly? I don't understand. Did she not have her powers still, like in the 70s? Like, what's going on? But evidently that was the thing, and that's why she needed her invisible plane, because she couldn't fly. So she had to get around in a plane. Then she was also really fast, so I was like, why didn't she just run around like the Flash? Like, the Flash can run to Paris, so why does she need a plane? Anyway, let's not think about it. And it was interesting because the story that they made for this one, besides changing artists halfway through and suddenly looking like Disney Hercules at the end of the story, seemed to tie together. Like, evidently, at one time, the Silver Swan was roommates with Wonder Woman and Etta Candy, and I guess that ended after a few issues, because it seems like at the end of the new comic that they created for this thing, they killed her.
The Silver Swan?
Yeah, and
Okay.
Dr. Psycho.
That's weird.
So,
yeah,
yeah, it was really weird.
Because I definitely remember in a recent, I think it was in like the big Wonder Woman annual, like the big 600, like before the whole new Straczynski run, like that, like I guess like there were 2 kind of like parallel storylines, but one of them was about the girl who used to be the Silver Swan graduating college and being like, thank you, Diana, for inspiring me to be a real person and achieve all the things I have in my life.
There have been like 3 Silver Swans in Wonder Woman alone.
Okay.
It's just the thing that happens again and again, because I guess evidently they decide to kill Silver Swan a lot. Or have her graduate into a biochemist or whatever she was. But yeah, it was good. I've been, like I said, I like those because there's a guaranteed really good issue, and then there's an issue that ties into the history of that, and they'll have some exposition explaining like what the status quo of that universe was. Like the first half of the new one from the 80s was basically Dr. Psycho reciting to Silver Swan the history of the past like year that they had been involved in.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But I mean, to me, I was like, oh, this is so cool. I didn't realize all this stuff happened. That's really awesome. So there was a boy Wonder Woman. Cool.
There was a boy Wonder Woman?
It was Steve Rogers.
Oh, wow.
Dr. Psycho made him, like, advanced him through ectoplasm.
Oh, that ectoplasm.
Captain Wonder or something like that.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it wasn't that good, but it was Steve Rogers being cool. And and they had a lot of Steve Rogers Wonder Woman romance in this. So.
Well, so my thing is that, like, for the amount of time that Wonder Woman has, like, been doing her shtick and being in love with Steve Trevor, like, why has she not had any children? Like, Donna Troy, her kid sister, has been married and had children already. And it's like, what about Wonder Woman? I mean, Bruce Wayne, his Robin is currently his son. And I'm like...
Yeah, but which one of these have been blessed by Artemis? I said, but which one of these people has been blessed by Artemis?
Okay.
I'm just saying, once you invoke that deity, you kind of have a big responsibility.
But, I mean, Artemis is not her main shtick.
No, but I'm just not surprised. I'm just not surprised. Actually, that's a great question. Is she still a maiden? Is she Wonder Maiden? I don't know.
Okay. Well, is there anything else we want to talk about this week?
Dakin ended crazy.
Dakin ended crazy. I thought that it was a little odd though about how much I don't know, I feel like the art has like the jumping around between the heat art and like the non-heat art is interesting, but it's just like I like the heat art so much better than the non-heat art. And so it's just
The
like,
heat art I think is pretty. I think that the art is clear and flows well. I don't have a lot of. I think it's interesting. It might be a little flat in terms of the color, but I don't find a fault. I mean, I really, looking at this last page of this comic, I love the way that.
I mean, I just think because like for a while, like the non-heat art that was, I guess, for the first half of this arc was great. I loved it, but then now the new non-heat art is just a little much less.
It's a little minimalist.
Yeah,
I would say.
I just like it. I just dislike it more because I think Dakin looks a lot less hot.
Oh, well, you should have said that because I can respond to that. He's definitely a lot less shirtless because he's dressed up like all of his henchmen, so that he appears to be human.
I just think that the other artists had a better sense of anatomy.
This is not a human.
Nope.
Look at his tiny leg. Dear face. That is correct. That is not hot. That very much illustrates the pain he is going through, but it's not hot. Okay. Least hot hottie. Awarded. Yeah. You need to pick up Batgirl because those splash pages
Well, the
of
thing,
all
so the thing about Batgirl is like, I'm really glad that the send-off was really good, but it just reinforces the whole issue of like, why are there no Batgirl? I mean, like, what like, there are 4 different Robins in the DCNU and only one Batgirl. Like, where are Stephanie Brown Cass in this whole mix? And then somebody else, I think it was on Newsarama, somebody was asking DCU like, why are there so many Robins? If the Justice League has only been around for 5 years, they're like, well, Robin is an internship program, and I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird, and really cheapens the whole like relationship that Batman has with all of his Robins,
Here's a picture of 3 Batgirls. Why couldn't we have 3 Batgirls?
Exactly.
That's a really good point. I really want to write to DC and say, like, Stephanie Brown is amazing. You need to. I mean, that's the thing. Like, she does have an identity, but Cassie doesn't. Because, like, Spoiler could come in and just, like, flirt with Robin. I understand that. Doable. But, like, what's Cassie gonna do? Just be like,
I can't speak.
Is she, like, Damian's half-sister or something? I couldn't ever remember if she was Bruce Wayne's bastard child.
No.
Okay.
No, she's the daughter of, like, I think another Al Ghul and, like...
No, she was, like, Lady Shiva or something.
Lady Shiva, yeah. She's Lady Shiva's daughter.
Yeah. Cool. That's good. Damian Wayne, I hate you.
Yeah, he's annoying and pretentious.
That's the thing. I actually think he's a good character, and I think he paired really well with Dick. But I am not at all interested in seeing him and his father hang out. I am just like, that seems very irresponsible. For someone who is a superhero because his parents were murdered, I do not think you need to be taking your son out on death runs.
Yeah. And it's just, I like Robin with like a saber just looks kind of weird to me.
Oh, with a sword?
Yeah. I don't like
They had some really good Damian Wayne with sword pictures in this in the fantasy stuff.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Let me show you. Here, they get power rings.
Oh, nice.
It was awesome.
He would totally be a Red Lantern.
Wait, it's pretty. And then I just realized that the last picture is her as her version of Nightwing.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, like.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then this is her little Batgirl.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really awesome.
What the fuck? I love it. Best comic. Best comic.
Well, on that note, thank you for tuning into this issue of Scarlet Betch, and make sure to tune in next week for another great issue.